Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. So, I finally made it inside Rikers Island. At least that's what it feels like coming inside this, I was about to say prison, but it's a library out here in Inglewood. I'm just like, my gosh, can I go get a study room to do some work? Like, is it that really that difficult to enter a library to study or to be productive? Like, golly. Because before I came out here, I actually called just to verify, like, okay, do you guys have study rooms? And is it okay if I use one of them, considering, how the hell I get... Yeah, I asked them, I said, do you guys have study rooms? And is it okay if I use one of them, considering that I don't have proof of my address in Inglewood? I mean, I moved out here to Inglewood September 30th. But my address isn't here. My mailing address is in Hollywood, which is where it's going to stay because that's where I do business. So I'm like, that's my mailing address. I don't have proof of address out here in Inglewood. So like, well, you need your state ID and you need proof of address. And he just kept holding it in. I'm like, I just want to use the study room, y'all. Like, y'all, please tell me y'all have some type of guest pass or something that I could use so I could just use the study room. So over the phone, the guy was like, yeah, just come in and tell them that you're visiting, you don't have proof of address, give them your ID, and then you can get a temporary card to be able to access the computers and to use the study room. Now, I don't need to access the computers. I have my own laptop. But I'm like, I just want a study room. So I get here, and then the guy at the main front desk, he all just love his job way too much, right? He was like, so, yeah, that's our policy, and he was like, who did you speak to? And I was like, I don't know who I spoke to. I just know I spoke to someone, and they told me that it was okay for me to come out here. And so he was like, well, I don't know. Let me just verify. Let me make sure it's okay. I'm like, dude, y'all do have temporary guest pass, right? He was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so what is getting in the way of you giving me a guest pass? Like, why are y'all giving me all of this? And so when he went to go verify, I looked back behind me, and it was a security guard, a black female, sitting at the at the desk, and I look at her and I'm like, all of this just to use the library? I'm like, god damn, you make it seem like we're going inside a jail or something, like, or an airport. Like, is it really that fucking serious to use a library, you guys? A public library that our taxes pay for? Like, I just started to get a little bit annoyed. So after all of that, I finally made it inside the library. I gave my ID, and it was like, well, we need you to write your home address here. I'm like, I'm not giving you my freaking home address. Like, what's the big deal? Like, it's just, come on. So I gave him, like, my street name or whatever. I'm like, dude, I ain't never think that it would be this difficult just to freaking use a public library, y'all. But anyway, finally made it inside. Finally. This video was supposed to start way earlier than now, but hey, I'm here. Gotta take a deep breath, do some meditation. This golly, I swear some people take their job way too seriously, you guys. Way too seriously. I actually stopped by one of my favorite spots out here in Inglewood to get some lunch. I didn't start eating my lunch yet, but I got this smoothie. It's called Sweet Healing, and it has all different kinds of stuff, and it has ginger, one of my favorite. It has celery. It has kale. I ended up replacing, because it came originally with spinach, but I replaced the spinach with kale. Then I added mango, and then it has coconut water and some mixed berries and banana. So it's pretty good. It has like a bitter taste. It has like a bitter taste to it, but I'm like, girl, I'm like, I hope they ain't tripping about me having this in the library, because I'm like, I need some nutrition. Like, come on. I know how to take care of myself and clean up if I make a mess. Like, I swear. Some people, they do way too much, man. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. This video, I want to talk to you guys about the Me Too movement. I guess not so much about the movement, but the impact that I've been noticing that it's had on specifically men, I think, in our society. And I'm just like, this Me Too movement is getting way out of hand, man. It's too much. It's too much going on. And granted, it's a very serious issue. Rape, sexual assault, sexual abuse is serious. And as statistics say, Nearly, what, 1 out of 5 women in their lifetime experience sexual abuse. So it's not to undermine the seriousness of it, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to put things into context and to see the impact that it's causing on our society. Because I keep my eyes open, and I see very much what's happening in our society with this movement. You know, it's like everybody is so sensitive, and you know, it's like men, in response to the movement, they're like tiptoeing around, and you got to be careful not to say this and say that. And actually, when I was at the Laugh Factory over the weekend, a comedian, he brought it up. He was like, isn't it annoying how this whole Me Too movement just taking a whole different form, you know? And it's almost, he was like, he put it in a joke, and I guess maybe some of you guys just are so serious, like, oh, you can't joke about serious topics. But me, I feel like, what's the harm in that, you know? As long as it's not too soon. Like, say somebody was just raped and then boom, you're making a joke about it. Or somebody just got killed and boom, you're making a... That might be too soon, but I mean, this Me Too movement has been going on for a while now. And I'm like, not to make light of the situation when you're joking about it, but I think joking actually helps to put things into a certain perspective. And so he was like saying how with the movement, he was like, fellas, it's hard, man. It's like, because, you know, now you got fellas, they have to ask a female every single thing. Is it okay if I pull the chair out? Is it okay if I give you a rub on your back? Is it like having to ask permission to make every single move with a female? And that was a joke, and, you know, it was a little punchline. And it was kind of funny when he said it. I know some of you guys like, that shit ain't funny or whatever, but come on, y'all. It's like, we have to, like, it's okay to see things from a different perspective. Yes, we know it's a serious issue, right? And like I said, the statistics say 1 out of 5 women are raped, you know, experience sexual assault or sexual abuse. And, you know, I'm like, I'm not excluded from that, you know. Of course, I'm been impacted by the whole Me Too thing. I can say Me Too myself. But I see just, it's something, I don't know, it's some, to me, it's not sitting well with me. The impact this movement is causing in our society, and how the point that the comedian brought up, how like men have to ask permission for the most silly things. Like, it's insidious, it's crazy, you know, to be able to have to just to touch a woman's shoulder. Can I touch your shoulder? You know, it could be a woman that he's involved with, right? But you don't want to be accused of rape or sexual assault, because granted, these cases that have come up, it wasn't a stranger. These men knew these women knew these men. And to see how something can go wrong, you know, a misunderstanding, right? And so in the present context, to see how the impact, how it's impacting different relationships, and how, yes, I mean, he made it a joke, the comedian, I forget which comedian it was. Oh my gosh, I wish I would remember, because there were so many different comics that came on stage that night. But it's true, I'm sure, that in relationships where you have a man and woman who know each other, it's just like, I can imagine what it's like to just, only can imagine what it's like to be a man and just have to be careful and not to be accused of sexual assault or violating a woman sexually, you know, because there's this awareness that, okay, yes, women have rights, women can state their boundaries in a relationship, and they feel uncomfortable with a certain move or thing that a man is doing into her in the relationship, then it's her right to say, you know what, I don't like this. I don't want you to touch me, even though they may have been dating or married for a number of years. You know, and even I think sometimes there's this question that within the context of a marriage, is it okay for a man to get sex whenever he wants? And if the woman is just like, you know what, I'm not feeling it, I don't want to have sex, is it okay for the man to continue to pursue that, you know, to get what he wants, so to speak? And no, it's never okay to violate a person's boundaries. A person says no, no means no. But globally speaking, I mean, this impact, I can see it. Like, men, even there's a movement even within our society. You guys I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of this. It's no secret to you guys that along with the Me Too movement, of course, feminism kind of came first, right? And it's just, think about equal rights for women. And with that, you kind of notice like there has been a push towards like metrosexuality. Excuse me, y'all. Ooh, that drink. There's been a push towards metrosexuality in men. Like men are becoming less dominant, less masculine, more feminine, more androgynous, and even leaning more towards on, like I said, the feminine side. It's just, as a woman myself, yes, I'm an alpha female, but I also am very much attracted to dominant men. I can see this impact of these movements, the feminist movement, the Me Too movement, how it's impacting relationships, and even how men approach me. It's just like, what's going on here? Now, granted, I realize that I'm out here in LA on the West Coast, and West Coast men, generally speaking, do things slightly different than the East Coast men, especially out here in LA. It's like they're a little bit less aggressive and more passive in their approach in interacting with women. It amazes me. And it's not just the interaction with me. This is things that I've observed and just how men interact with women. And I guess for women who have been oppressed for so many years, they're like, oh, it feels good to, I guess, get the respect that we deserve and get the equal standing. And even for some women, they feel like they even have a greater sense of power over a man and that dynamic. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know if I kind of like the way our society is moving. I'm sure that when I watch this video years from now, and you guys go back and see this video years from now, you can like, wow, and see what she was saying. There has definitely been a shift in our culture, especially when you compare it to how it was, let's say 30 years ago. We're in 2018, and you dial it back to, let's say, the 80s, or even go back to the 70s, the 60s. Like, the dynamic between men and women was completely different than what it is now. And you got even some people that kind of joke about how back in the day, you know, it wasn't an issue, the whole thing with Bill Cosby. But all of a sudden, now that these women know that, oh, well, there's a law around that to protect me, and that I actually have a right to say no or to pull out, you know, if I decide to change my mind. And I think some women are just fabricating stories and lying. Not to say everybody who said Me Too that they're lying, but some, I don't know. I'm kind of suspicious of some women who are coming forward and be like, oh, me too, this happened to me, he did it. I'm just like, come on, down. To me, something don't sound right about that. Like, I'm not getting a good vibe or good feeling that these women are being completely honest. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, give men a break. And I think even for myself, being that it's hard to just do this video and just let this beautiful drink just sit here. But yeah, even for myself, I have to be honest. I sometimes find myself thinking like, man. And I know some of y'all be like, oh, that's a stereotype. How do men think? Come on, y'all. Give me a break. We know there are gender differences. Let's not try to ignore that gender differences still do exist. Although, yes, there's some fluidity within the genders. So not every woman acts like a woman. Every man acts like a man. We know that. But the reality is that, yes, you can find certain norms within the female gender and the male gender that are kind of pretty, you know, consistent across the board. Yes, there are exceptions. You have to always say it because people are like, oh, I'm not like that. I don't do that. And men say the same thing. Women say the same thing. That's not me as a woman. You know, even for myself, I can say you got a lot of women that carry purses. Now, granted, I did start carrying purses, but I'm not really too fond of purses or earrings or the kind of girly stuff that's usually typical of women that you see women doing. You know, women wear heels. A person may say, oh, that's a stereotype. Not all women wear heels. Come on, y'all, give me a break. Or men, you know, like to drink, or men like sports, or men, you know, like cars and stuff like that. And then you have some men, well, not all men, that's not me. No, duh. But we know that there are norms within the gender. So that's what I'm speaking to in this video. The norms. So you guys don't be like, oh, I feel offended because she said this. Whatever. Give me a break. This is the issue here that we have in our society. It's like everything is just so sensitive. You gotta walk on eggshells. And yes, it's important to take into consideration how what you say can impact the next person. But when we get to the point where we're just overly conscious of what we do and what we say, that we have to monitor every single thing and check every single thing, it's just like, damn, we can't even live. You can't even freaking exist because you're always wondering. It's like kind of like the parallel process to, I guess, white people and what they're experiencing when it comes to Black Lives Matter. And, you know, them having to be sensitive to racial oppression. I can say this as a Black woman, that I only can imagine is similar to how men experience this Me Too movement. It's just like, God damn. It's like everything you have to be sensitive to. You can't even exist without, oh, I offended that person. And you have to always apologize because the person is offended, you know. And you're just like, well, I didn't know that I was offensive, but okay, sorry, you know. And just being super careful about everything you do. It's like, you know, imagine the anxiety that is created around that. And then I just feel like human interactions, it shouldn't be that much anxiety provoking. You know, when it comes to a man meeting a woman and him falling in love with a woman, why should there be so much anxiety, extra anxiety that didn't even exist back in the day, you know? That's not to say that, oh, y'all men just go out and do what you want and take what you want and, like Donald Trump says, grab them by the pussy. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying there's an extra layer of anxiety surrounding this Me Too movement. And men are feeling like, well, what can I do with the woman, you know? Because if the law is looking at it like, okay, they're taking these little intricacies of the law where almost like the smallest thing, I'm pretty sure that's what they got Bill Cosby on, like the littlest thing can incriminate a person. And nobody don't want to go to jail. No man wants to get labeled as a sex offender. That fucks you up for life. You can't even get a job. You can't even freaking get approved for a place to stay, barely, with that. It keeps you marginalized in society when you're labeled with this serious crime. You know, this serious label of sex offender. You know, it's just like being labeled as a felon. Who wants that? Who needs that in their life? You know, and I can kind of empathize to a certain degree with men and just the frustrations. It's just like, imagine. They can't even be a man no more, you know? If you have to second guess your interactions with women, you're like, damn. At first, you were comfortable. You know, you were content in your manhood. You were secure in your manhood, and now men are walking on eggshells like, well, I don't know, should I do this? And it's just, part of it just being a man, right? But it's just like, nowadays, because everybody is on this heightened level of insecurity, man gotta kind of be a little bit careful, extra careful, not even a little bit. You gotta be super careful. For a comedian to make a joke like that, it's like, no. Part of comedy and humor is the truth, man. It's funny. That's the reason why it's funny, because it is the truth. These men can't even feel like they can be themselves around women no more. Can't even take the lead, because if a woman feels violated for whatever reason, she can call the police and boom, he in jail. Something wrong with that, y'all. I don't know. Y'all tell me. I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Feel free to leave your comments below. Whether you're a man, you identify as a woman, or you identify as non-gender conforming, whatever. However you identify. Transsexual, transgender. Feel free to leave your comments below. Whether you agree or disagree. I'm open to hearing what people have to say on this topic, because for myself, I'm just like, God damn. It's affecting my freaking dating pool, I think. You know, because you got all these men walking around here super feminine. In my eyes, it's super feminine. In y'all eyes, you're like, okay, that's just a man. It's just, he's whatever. You don't have to be super dominant. But in my eyes, if you're not dominant, you I'm trying to be politically correct now. I can have some other words that I can use, but I would say you're kind of more feminine, you know, or androgynous. I ain't attracted to no androgynous man or a feminine man. I'm attracted to a man, how it was back in the day. I know people walking by like, this girl talking to herself, because I don't think they can see my camera. No, I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to the world, but yeah, I'm attracted to the alpha male, the macho male. Yes, you got to be respectful, but even being with respectful, you can still be a man. You know, be a gentleman, but still hold your nuts, man. That's the kind of man I like. You know, just a go-getter. You know? And I feel like men who are that way, who are very much manly men, they can be that way with me. You know? All of this, oh, you gotta be careful, because the female's ego, you know? That, I'm just saying for me. Now, I know every woman has her own perspective, especially as it relates to this Me Too thing. You got some women who real, like, that's how they take that shit seriously. Like, you better not make no jokes with them about that. You know, they take it serious, and that's them. But I feel like we live in America. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And this definitely is my perspective on it. You know, it's my opinion. And it got to a point where I don't really watch the news, but, you know, of course, I'm not immune to being able to see these news stories. And so I got to a point where I was seeing these news stories. I'm like, I'm just tired of this whole Me Too movement shit, man. Like, what the fuck? It's just, come on. This is my message, and I'm going to end this video because I want to actually talk about something else after this, and then I'm going to start studying, but y'all, this is my thing. If you feel violated by a man, he's done you wrong, he's crossed the boundaries, you know, however you guys want to define it, go to the police right away. I know it's difficult, and I know a lot of women say, well, it's not always that easy to go to the police. Trust me, I know. And when I say I have some stories to tell, I have plenty stories to tell. That's why I wrote my story, American Dreamer, man. My autobiography. It's yet to be released, but it's damn sure some stories in there that very much relate to the Me Too movement. So trust and believe. I get it. The difficulty in telling anybody if you've been raped or abused, it's so many emotions that's tied to that. You feel shame. Part of a woman may feel guilty because she's like, okay, well, maybe if I didn't do this, then this wouldn't have happened. So it's a number of reasons why women don't go to the police immediately. The reason why I say try your best to go to the police immediately is because it kind of makes it a little bit more believable. Not to say that you go to the police immediately that you're just going to be completely believable and then everybody going to believe you and not question you. Not exactly, because you still have people that still find suspicion in women who turn men into the police for rape. They're like, nah, something she did. You know, she did something. Whether she was dressed this way or she invited him. You know, they try to give some responsibility to the woman. But I'm just like, I think it helps. It does help, especially when these cases hit the media. Like, go to the police. Get that police report. If a man does something to you that you know violates that boundary, if you made it clear, like, no, you told him no, and he does it, yes, you have the right to report that shit, and you have support. There's so much support out there for women, or men, because it ain't just women getting violated or sexually abused. Men do too. It's so much support out there. And especially with the Me Too movement, you got the support of the whole entire world. So they got your back, you know? Where can you get my book, American Dreamer? You can actually pre-order copies of my book, American Dreamer, via my website at danielleleach.com. It is my first and last name.com. That's where you can actually put in your information to get a pre-order of American Dreamer. It's not... Sorry, y'all. It says trying to connect. But my book is not released yet. And I purposely did not release my book because I want to finish my PhD first. I'm not releasing my book until I get my PhD. Put it that way. And that's going to happen around a couple years from now. So, not that long. I ain't going to make you guys wait too much longer. What's up, Fred? I see ya. And yes, I am holding you to that responsibility that you said that you was going to go get that massage. And no, getting into your spa at home or your jacuzzi at home, that's not the same as a massage. The deep tissue massage, where there's physical touch by another human being on your body. It's not the same. But yeah, that's pretty much what I had to say about the Me Too thing. I know y'all probably were thinking that I was going to get on here and tell y'all about my own experience with Me Too. No, nah. It's a time and place for that, and definitely I'm not going to do that here. But I just wanted to kind of talk about the impact of the movement, you know. Just like, yo, fucking up the game, man. These men are scared and they becoming more feminine, and you can see it. Like, I know I'm not the only one who see this shift in our society with men. It's not to say that all men turning gay or all men becoming metrosexuals. No, you still have men who are very much dominant men. I'm just saying, though, the numbers they speak for themselves, man. I'm just saying. Thanks, Sergey. Where are you from, by the way? You're inspired by my support. I appreciate that. I'm just saying, like, these men, shit, with the Me Too movement, men should come up with their own movement, you know? Y'all should have your own movement to strengthen y'all, to strengthen the men who want to be dominant, masculine men. And not have to walk around here on eggshells and be like, oh my gosh, you know, I shouldn't give her a compliment because she's going to take it as sexual harassment. It's just like, oh, come on, man. Or I shouldn't, you know, ask for her number because she's going to take it as me violating her boundaries. And come on now. And this is speaking from a woman who's 35 years old, never married. And yes, I want kids. Like, I'm trying to have some kids, man. I want to meet my prince. And I feel like the Me Too movement getting in the way. Because all these men, they just so scared now. They scared. That's my southern accent coming out, but they are. Fuck that, man. We need men. Yeah, I know. I found someplace. It seemed nice, but they only open when I work. Oh, okay, yeah, I forget. Yeah, you do live in that small town in Ohio, so it might be a little bit more difficult. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm about to go ahead and wrap it up, end it. I'm actually about to come back in another video as soon as I hit end on this video on a similar topic but slightly different. So feel free, like I said, continue discussion below. Share your thoughts. You know, be honest. As long as it's respectful, just be honest. You know, be yourself. That's what I respect. People just being themselves, man. But at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. We live in some interesting times now. Very interesting times, to say the least. But I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for tuning in.